Minister. Their positions on this debate stage have been decided by the toss of a coin.
I think over the last 14 years, politics has become too much about self-entitlement and MPs thinking about what they can get for themselves. And one of the important choices, and the thing that I would like to do if I'm elected Prime Minister, is to reset politics so that politics returns to public service. Because this isn't just, what's happened this week, last week in the Gambling Commission. We saw Partygate earlier in this Parliament. The Prime Minister himself was convicted and fined for breaking the rules which he brought in and imposed on everybody else. And of course, we've seen what happened with the COVID contracts and the huge amounts of money that were made. This takes leadership. What I did when one of my team was alleged to have been involved and investigated by the Gambling Commission, they were suspended within minutes.
And Keir Starmer, welcome to you both. It's very good that you're taking part in this with just over...
We had an independent internal inquiry into what happened, have taken action and suspended the candidates involved, and I've been crystal clear that they should face the full consequences of the law. But Keir Starmer talks about leadership in politics. That's what Sue's question was at. It was a broad question about how to do that. I also think leadership means being straight with people. It means having the courage of your convictions, not changing your mind on every single position that you've taken and being upfront about what you want to do for the country. That's not what Keir Starmer is doing. He's not being honest with everyone about his plans to raise their taxes.
Right,
I think that will erode trust in politics, and that's the choice at this election. Let's just stick to the heart of the question.
I do want to turn to the next question because lots of people are waiting and they've got important questions that they would like answers to. If you can hear any noises off, ladies and gentlemen, or anyone at home, there is a protest taking place outside, which is also an aspect of our democracy and people exercising their freedom of speech.
It's completely unfair what's happening. When people come here illegally, jump the queue, it not only puts pressure on public services, it not only threatens our security, it's an affront to that sense of fairness, which is fundamental to our national character, and that's why I've made it a priority to stop the votes. We have made progress. The numbers have come down over the past 12 months compared to the 12 months before. But in order to fully solve this problem, you need a deterrent. We need to make it crystal clear to people that if they come to our country illegally, they won't be able to stay. And that's why, if I'm your Prime Minister on July 5th, the flights will go to Rwanda. We will build that deterrent that multiple other European countries now agree is the right way to deal with this problem, and that's how we solve this problem. If Keir Starmer is your Prime Minister, all those illegal migrants will be out on our streets, and that is the choice for you. Do not surrender our borders to the Labour Party.
Steve, this is complete and utter nonsense.
On the numbers.
Why are record numbers still coming under your watch, Prime Minister? How on earth can you say it's working? You put the scheme in place. The flights could go off. I noticed you called the election, by the way, before any flights could actually get off, and it could be tested. An interesting timing. But if this was such a deterrent, why is it obviously not working? Because they're not being processed, they cannot be returned to where they came from. Can they, Prime Minister? If he wants to correct that, now's his chance to do it. They cannot be returned.
Well, do you know where these people come from?
No, he's not answering the question.
Do you know where they come from? Iran,
you can see.
Syria, Afghanistan. So when Keir Starmer says he's going to return people, is he going to sit down? Are you going to sit down with the Iranian Ayatollahs? Are you going to try and do a deal with the Taliban? It's completely nonsensical what you are saying, right? You are taking people for fools, right? I think that these people should not stay on our country. They will be on planes to Rwanda. That's what I will do with them. You still can't answer the question. What will you do with them?
All the tens of thousands.
All the illegal migrants who arrive will be processed and put on planes to Rwanda. And those savings we will use to cut your taxes. And what I want to do is cut taxes for people at every stage of their life. So for everyone in work, we're going to continue cutting national insurance, £900 this year. For pensioners, we have the Triple Lock Plus. We will raise the allowance, delivering a tax cut for pensioners, making sure that the state pension is never subject to income tax. If you're a young couple wanting to buy your first home, we're effectively going to abolish stamp duty. If you have children, you're a family, we're going to expand the generosity of child benefit. Right? These are the tax cuts that I want to deliver. And if you're a small business owner and entrepreneur, we're going to abolish national insurance for the self-employed. So those are the tax cuts, that's how we're going to pay for it, and that's the choice for you at this election. You can have tax cuts with the Conservatives, or you can have thousands of pounds of tax rises under the Labour Party, because he's simply not being straight with you about what is coming. Mark my words, your taxes are going up if he is in charge.
Keir Starmer.
False, but Mohammed, I'll answer your... The Prime Minister said he warned the country about Liz Truss and the damage that she was going to do to our economy. And then in the next breath, he said we must unite behind her and support her. Why on earth would you unite behind someone that you say was going to do that damage?
You know what it's like to fall in behind a leader of your party.
But he's repeating the problem. He's repeating the problem. He said unite. I think Boris Johnson botched it. He just wanted to say he could get a deal across the line. So we can get a better deal. I think a trading deal. I'd also like a better deal on research and development, where I think if we work together, it would be better for the country. And a better deal when it comes to security and defence,
okay,
particularly in light of what's happened in Ukraine.
The key thing for Julie is the trade part. So
you might be able to. But do you know what the price of it will be? It will be free movement of people. No, and that's what Keir Starmer's not being straight with you about, right? They might be able to sit down with the EU, and the price of anything, and I know because I've sat across them for the last 18 months, negotiated the Windsor Framework for Northern Ireland, actually got us into the Horizon programme for R&D. All the things he's talking about involve accepting more migrants. We will do that by changing the law so that the Equalities Act recognises that sex means biological sex, and that will allow us to deliver on what Vicky wants, which is to protect female-only spaces, female-only services. It's crystal clear for you there is a choice on that question at this election, because Keir Starmer is not matched my pledge to reform the Equalities Act to pass new law. That is the only way to deliver on what Vicky says. And the reason he won't do that, I don't know, but he can explain, is because he's not sure, like I am, that when it comes to these matters, sex means biological sex, and that's how you protect female-only spaces and services.
Keir Starmer.
Yes is the answer to the question. It's very important that we protect women's spaces. I saw this firsthand when I was Chief Prosecutor back in 2008 to 2013. I was working with groups who were supportive of women who'd been subjected to domestic violence and sexual violence, and saw for myself just how important it is to have those women's spaces. Same in hospitals and in sport. So yes to that answer. But what I will also say is that I do recognise that there are a small number of people who are born into a gender that they don't identify with, and I will treat them, as I treat all human beings, with dignity and respect. And I'll tell you for why. I'll tell you for why. Because if you don't, you end up with the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom standing in Parliament making an anti-trans joke in front of the mother of a murdered trans teenager. I will never, ever allow myself to be put into that position.
Okay.
And the two men there, so Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak.